Okay. So, hopefully everybody can see me and hear me. Let me know if everything's good on your end, because I'm not really sure. Because I can't hear myself. I can hear myself talk, but I can't hear the volume on y'all's end. So I'm glad everybody is here. Some of the things they wanted to talk about are, it is what it is. I feel like that has become my mantra of the last, 2020. I mean, it is what it is. It has been the weirdest year ever. And I get on Facebook and I see everybody living, not everybody. A lot of people are taking everything seriously, but people living their lives as normally as possible. And I'm like, I want to do that too. But I'm following the guidelines that they have set. So that way, hopefully when all this is over, we can all go back to normal at some time safely and still all have fun. Like I was on Facebook and people I know had a wedding and no one was wearing masks. There was no social distancing. There were definitely more than 10 people. So it's like, why? Yeah, Smitten Kitten, if I didn't have to deal with, my job is social media. A lot of my job is social media. I would have gotten rid of it a long, long time ago because it drives me nuts. But I was and you wouldn't think this because, as I said, a lot of my job is social media. I was very, very late to the social media party. The idea of sharing information out on the internet was crazy. Well, I mean, Smitten Kitten, I have a shop, yes, but I mean, look at it. I am on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, and it is work stuff, which, I mean, doing the YouTube stuff is all part of my job, if that makes sense. So yes, it is because, I mean, it's work. And I mean, it's like this stuff of sharing information that freaked me out whenever social media first started doesn't bother me anymore. It is now just the annoyance of watching people not doing what they're supposed to, I guess. Hi, Deborah. Hi, the Shamrock Pixie. Hi, Karen. And thank you, Anita. My eye makeup, I don't know if y'all can tell, is absolutely pretty. I was reviewing a new eyeshadow palette. If you don't know, just to let y'all know, I do have a second channel, which all has to do with makeup because that is my hobby. That is my favorite thing. This stuff, I know a lot of y'all, it is fun for y'all, but this is work to me. The makeup stuff is like my joy. And what I was reviewing was not that great. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Heather. What's the sparkle? It's all from, there's a Chinese company called ZC, and they did a collaboration with the British Museum. They have actually several collaborations, and I got sucked into one of those Instagram ads. Antonia, I have two Instagrams. I have one for the business, which is just under Cuttin Corners Vinyl, and then I have my personal one, which is under Betsy Gocher. All of my social media, they're going to be under one or the other than Snapchat, which is under go_Betsy. But I will type it in. So if y'all are interested in following me on anything, I'm on everything. Like I just started doing, well, I didn't really start doing, but I did set up a TikTok. Yes, it did turn out to be a letdown. It has worn off very, very quickly because I only did my eye makeup at like 2 o'clock. So it's been 3 hours. It didn't blend well. The amount of fallout was crazy. Just not my favorite. Anita, yes, sometimes I do wear false eyelashes. Right now, I'm not. This is just very rarely do I wear them, but I have some that I like to wear when I'm going to do it. Most days I don't because I work out. Typically in the morning, Cameron and I go walk, and then when Jeremy gets off in the afternoon, we go walk again. So whatever I have on my face, which is definitely not eyelash glue, what I want to have on my face when I go walk a few miles in our Southeast Texas heat, like Sunday, it was 104. It felt like 113 with 100% humidity, literally at 8 o'clock at night, and we try to keep our air conditioner never shuts off at home. It was still 79 degrees in my house. Well, I like to play. Shamrock, I mean, I'm no professional makeup artist. You could, if you want to, Dawn, I'll go over that in a little bit, but to add like some sparkle with those eye charms, use eyelash glue. It's safe for it. Well, Smitten Kitten, we are going to be doing e-learning with Cameron, but their school doesn't start back until the 31st. And y'all know we had a trip planned with Cameron's school as well with World Strides to do New York, DC this coming up summer. And we went ahead and canceled it. We can always redo it. But at this point, I don't foresee things changing. So that is where we're at. But yeah, no. Hey, 12-year-olds are great. Cameron's 13, so he's not so great anymore. But he's laughing, and my daughter's laughing over there because I'm messing with him. But I mean, he really hasn't gotten to the bad age. Smitten Kitten, Texas is awesome for certain things, but not for where I'm at. The weather is not what's awesome. I mean, I don't mind the heat, but Jiminy Cricket, the AC cannot keep up. Like, it's just so hot. So freaking hot. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm going to melt. Absolutely melt. Oh no, my kids are good. I mean, I'll honestly admit that. Like, I'll pick on them and stuff, but my kids are awesome. Like, I have no issue with them whatsoever. I mean, I hope that I don't have issues with Cameron later. Anita, she was on the live the last time, and then I've actually got a couple of videos, or I know a couple of videos on my second channel and maybe one on the main channel. But if you are interested, I don't know if y'all saw this, but yesterday was the video I posted was over stretch vinyl. And there are some interesting tips and tricks on it. So if you have not seen it, go look at, well, after the live's over, go look at Monday's video. Okay, so let's see. No, I have enough trouble teaching my own. You can't get your Caesar Easy Weed to stick using your Easy Press. It's probably a pressure issue and not a heat issue. You might have to put some force behind it. I'm glad you love the t-shirt guide. It's one of my favorite things to use. And Caesar Easy Weed can be, it's a different beast altogether. I don't know. It's not it's not the worst material, but it is definitely not my favorite. No, Smitten Kitten, I haven't gotten the Silhouette 4 yet because I have the Silhouette 3 and it works just fine. And a lot of y'all may or may not realize the stuff that comes off of my channel, those things I pay for. So equipment, if I try to wait for there to be things that are more interesting. I'm sorry to hear that you're in the hospital, Donna. I'll definitely be praying that you get better. There are certain wools that HTVs that go on wool, the Shamrock Pixie. That is one of the reasons why, like, if you buy vinyl from me, or if you buy like the specialty material brand, this has information. This is on our website, but this has all the information for what type of material it can go on, and there's lots of helpful tips and tricks in there anyway. Let's see. I'm glad you got a Cricut yesterday, Carrie. It will be a whole lot of fun for you. Yeah, this Smith & Kitten. I'm not sure if it's worth the upgrade or not. Like, especially with software, I don't know. I mean, yes, they have a bigger one. I have bigger machines. And then the bigger one is still a whole lot of money. It's like 600 bucks. Anita, I do like my Cricut better because I design outside of it. So it makes it a whole lot easier for what I'm doing. And in QP, my favorite is the Specialty Materials Thermoflex Plus. I love how it washes. I love how it dries, which is very important to me. And like, I've used it for many, 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 many years. I've been doing this a long darn time, and that's just what I prefer. Speaking of, I did want to remind y'all, this is the sale this week. The holographic adhesives. We talked about them last week, and they're on sale for $6 a sheet. My nose is wanting to run. Okay, let's see. Do I recommend a Cameo or a Cricut? Now, okay, that is a hard question because it depends on what you're going to do with it. Because, like, for myself personally, I use CorelDRAW to design my stuff in. So I use an outside art program. So Cricut is much easier to import in, and I don't have to sit there and separate out all the colors. So it works great for that. But as far as software goes, Cameo software is 10 times better for designing. You can actually outline objects. So Cameo has a much, much better software. So again, it kind of depends on what you're wanting to do with it. If you're wanting to use a lot of pre-made designs, Cricut all the way. But if you're wanting to get into designing and you don't want to have to spend the extra money to get a design software, I would recommend the Cameo. Smitten Kitten, my favorite beginner heat press is the Tusky heat press. They're available on Amazon. They're like 200 bucks. It is awesome. Politics right now are driving me insane. Absolutely insane. I am a rule follower. Let me put it to you this way. So seeing people break rules, that just drives me nuts. Like, I do not have an anarchist bone in my body. I will always follow laws, traffic laws, that kind of thing. And as soon as they tell me I'm supposed to do something, I'm going to do it. But so seeing people break the rules so blatantly is like, I don't know. That just drives me insane. Maria, don't be scared of doing vinyl. It is easier than you think. And practice, practice, practice. I'm glad you love your book, Latrina. Isn't it awesome? It makes things so much simpler to be able to see everything all in one place. Oh, we're going to be doing a whole lot of Halloween stuff. I am excited for Halloween. Oh, what we're going to be working with tomorrow, I don't know if I've shown y'all this or not. This is all of the holographic, the specialty materials. This is the Deco Sparkle. Look how cool these colors are. I love anything that has some shine. So we're going to be working with these tomorrow because I want y'all to have detailed instructions on how to work with all of the same things. Yes, we do use permanent vinyl for car decals. Oracal 651 is great. I use CorelDRAW, which is like Adobe, but less expensive. But my artist uses Adobe Illustrator. So we use several different things. Thank you, I have no idea if I'm even saying that correctly, from Ireland. I love the Irish accent. Like, that is one of my favorite accents ever. I know it's kind of crazy. I do not have the Caesar Twinkle. Honestly, um, one of the issues that I had back whenever we started the Cuttin Corners business, when we started to sell vinyl, Caesar wanted us to have an exclusivity agreement with them where if we sold their products to get better pricing from them, we could only sell their products. I was like, no, because like specialty materials, one, there's a lot of products that I like better from specialty than I do from Caesar. But another thing is the color range of it. It's like Caesar's like, we have this many regular colors. I'm like, well, specialties had that forever. And like glitters, which is one of my favorite things to work with. Let me kind of show you if I can find the page. The Glitter Flex Ultra, which is the basic glitter for specialty, page 1, page 2, page 3. So there's 3 pages with, there's 6 times 6, that's 36 each. So there's a ton of them. Yes, I just want things to be normal and quiet. Like, I can't wait for the election to be over. Just be done with it. I'm trying to read what y'all are saying. Well, what vinyl did you use, the Shamrock Pixie? Because some things may say it's permanent, but it's not. And certain things fade faster than others. And a lot of times manufacturers, especially manufacturers who have been in the game for a long time, should be able to tell you outdoor ratings and things like that, like how long it has been. Like Oracal, we know Oracal 651 is a 5 to 7 outdoor life rating. That's in direct sunlight. But we also know anything that is in the red family, such as red, pinks, things like that, fade faster. Now, they don't typically fade within a few months. They fade within a couple of years. But it even says that in the book, that how long it takes for it to before it starts to fade. The brand that I recommend is Specialty Materials. I mean, but there are other good brands. Caesar has some good products too. Like, I love their electric line, but it's like I said, I don't want to sell. I'm not. Let me explain this to you the best way that I can. In doing this business and doing this YouTube, I get approached all the time about recommending products, getting sponsored videos, and all this other kind of stuff. And there's a lot of ways that I could do this and make a lot of money. I'm not going to sit here. I am very iffy about recommending things to y'all, like Cricut versus Silhouette or anything like that, because it depends on your situation and what you're trying to do. Same thing with heat presses and all that kind of stuff. I am not going to sit here and just make money off of it and try to give you crap products or just do it for the money. That is not who I am. But you know, I've been on YouTube now 3.5 years. I think I have done 4 sponsored videos. Maybe it'll only be 3. It's not a lot because I am very, very, very iffy about what I want to do. Maria Dunn, the problem with at-home printable is it's not very good. A lot of times when you're using a home inkjet printer, that's just not what it's made to do. So I'm trying to read back through people's things. Yes, Thermoflex does come through a normal matte colors. They have, hold on. Okay, so that's the first page of the Thermoflex Plus colors. That's the second page. That's the third page. That's the fourth page. So there's a lot of colors. Let's see. Yes, this is the book that people buy from my site. Yes, it has all of the specialty materials heat transfer vinyls in it. It is amazing. Well, I mean, and I don't say that to brag. I mean, I'm just being completely honest. I mean, it's like me as a business owner and me as a consumer, um, that I hope that whenever I watch someone talk about something, they're going to give me honest opinions too, and not be like, hey, just buy this, buy this, buy this, because that's not how it works. It's like with vinyl, it depends on the job that you're doing, is what you're going to need for it. It depends on how you're using your machine, on what machine you're going to use. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. It's like with shirts. What kind of shirt do you like to wear? Do you want it to be soft? Do you want something that's a little bit tougher? Um, no, Smitten Kitten. I ordered those from Specialty already done because I think they're such a help for customers. I do have a video on how to download and install fonts, Sheila, from DeFont. But it is pretty easy to do. But I guess it depends on what you're trying to do it on. Because, like, I have a video on how to use it with your normal PC. Yeah, no, that is a ton of work. Like, Luke, one of the owners over there, they have to take, like, they get everything printed and then they pretty much punch out each of the individual colors and stick them on here. So these are actual, like, if you look at it, it is the vinyl on here. So most of the pages that you see have the actual vinyl so you can know what it's going to feel like. Yeah, see, Sheila, I don't know much about installing a font on a Mac. I don't have a Mac, and I love you guys, but I'm not buying a Mac just for videos because they're outrageously expensive. Well, I see, and I'm a big fan of like the Bella and Canvas and the Tooltex brand shirts. They're awesome. Yes, and that is helpful. I mean, like, to me, that is like the best thing ever. That's the best thing since sliced bread. You can tell how old I am from that phrase. But yeah, no, that is like awesome to me. Hi, Tamira. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I butcher names. I am from the Southeast Texas. So we are surrounded by Cajun names, French names, Native American names, and Hispanic names. So you're not ever sure on how you're supposed to say someone's name. So I'm like, maybe that's correct. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah, and I'm sure that there are some good how-to videos on how to use it with a Mac. I mean, that's just, oh, good, Tamira. That makes me happy. But yeah, no, I mean, like, I've thought about trying to do, because, you know, iPad and iPhone phone tutorials are pretty close, and I've thought about using my phone to do the tutorials with it, but I'm like, I don't even know how to record on there. Yeah, I'm terrible with names, and I'll be the first one to admit it. I mean, but my last name is one of those names, like Gocher. Okay, it's spelled Gotcher. We get Gotcher. We get Gautier. That's how I know if you actually know who I am, because you say my name better. Well, Deborah, whenever I'm looking at y'all, like talking to y'all like this, it is very difficult to get someone to pronounce their name. Like, I have no idea. Smitten Kitten. So the way that this started, and I've been asked this before, but I have no problem explaining. My mother and father-in-law many years ago started a sign shop and did just signs, big signs and stuff like that. Well, once they needed help for an employee, they asked me to come work with them, and I did, because I had kids, and that way I could still be around for my kids and work because I like to work. Well, back when Cameron was in preschool, so he was 4 years old, so 9 years ago, we had the opportunity to buy out a screen print shop. So that's when we started doing screen printing. So it was originally GoSign and Graphics. Then we bought out Texas Tees, and we decided to join both of those together. So it was GoSign and Texas Tees. And we kept getting calls about people wanting vinyl because Cricut and Silhouette were becoming popular. So we kept getting calls about people wanting to purchase our scrap vinyl. And my husband got laid off from the oil industry back in 2016 because the oil industry took a big hit back then. Or was it 2015? Anyway, sometime around then. And they took a big hit, and we decided we pulled all of his retirement and opened up the vinyl store because, as I said, everybody was calling for it. And it's kind of grown from there. And then, like with the YouTube stuff, I had people who, like, everyone would come into the store and be like, "Hey, how do you do this? Hey, how do you do this?" And I was like, "Well, we're going to do a video." I posted the video to Facebook, and it was like got so many views. I was flabbergasted that anybody would want to watch me. Like when I first shot a video, it was like nobody's going to want to watch me. I am a country girl from Southeast Texas. What do I know that's any different? And Cameron, whenever that video got so many views, Cameron was like, "Hey, Mom, you should post it on YouTube. You can make money on YouTube." I was like, "What?" So even though YouTube's been around forever, I haven't been a YouTube user for a long time. Smitten Kitten, no, honestly not. I was not scared to put the money into it because we have a good customer base, and like my husband has always worked outside of the family business. So even whenever, and there's been a lot of points, don't get me wrong, where I didn't make any money, none whatsoever. We survived off of my husband's paycheck alone. And so we knew what we wanted to do. I wanted something that eventually, I mean, hopefully at some point, my husband will be able to come work for us full time, that I can have the freedoms to travel, that I can have the freedoms to spend time. The big thing for me was being able to spend time with my kids, honestly. And now that they're getting older, Nadia's 20, Caden's 18, and Cameron's 13. I've always been in PTA. I've been homeroom mom for years and never missed a thing. I wanted to make sure I had the freedoms to be able to be there for class parties and programs and things like that. Because I think, in my personal opinion, that I think some of the biggest impacts on your kids is that being an involved parent. I mean, and still to this day, even before the quarantine and all that stuff happened, Nadia, who's 20 years old, still goes, like, we still go all the time. Like, we did go to the movies all the time together as a family. Her boyfriend comes along with us. She doesn't go out much. If they, like, whenever it was time to choose their graduation trips and stuff like that, they wanted to spend time with us. So, I mean, we are a very close-knit family. Thank you, Jacqueline. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how we are. And yeah, some things have kind of been luck and just kind of fell into place. But don't let me, let's not get this twisted. I have worked my hiney off to get to the place where I am. I have worked many nights well into the morning. I have taken and went to things during the day at school for the kids and stayed up all night working, not drawing a paycheck just to keep things going. I mean, Lord, I'm still doing all this. I shoot 3 videos a week per channel, which probably doesn't sound like much, but it takes all day to do that. Plus, still deal with custom stuff, plus, still place orders and all that kind of stuff. Because, and let me tell you this from a business owner perspective, nobody's going to love your small business the way that you love your small business. And this is my baby. Whenever anything goes wrong, part of the thing is, like, even though I own this business with my husband and my mother and father-in-law, so it's like a 25% deal. My face, my name is out there. If there is an issue, they're not looking for Mary or Joe or Jeremy. They're wanting to know, hey, Betsy, what happened? So it is very, very important to me to keep a good reputation and to put everything into it. I've always been a type A personality. Like, I want, like, I am a perfectionist to a T. If Nadia comes in here and uses the heat press behind me, she will tell you, I will jump hiney if people don't put things away. That is like, I want things good, perfect. Yeah, don't be scared to do it. Just do it. You can start small. Latrina, I have helped as much as I possibly can. I do try to do videos over starting your business and different things like that. But yeah, no, I try to help as much as I possibly can. Part of it is just learning your market and working hard at it. But a lot of this stuff you can start slowly. You know, you don't have to jump out and do it full time. So now, if you've lost your job or things like that, and you've got the stuff to get it going, yeah, go ahead and start. There's no time like now. But yeah, you can. I mean, and like, we didn't start doing everything. Like, we had the big sign stuff. So the first thing my mother and father-in-law bought was a plotter, which is the word for like a professional grade Cricut. Then they bought a big printer because that helps for making signs and banners to make the full color stuff. When we bought the screen printing industry, the screen print sign shop, it had equipment with it, but the first thing we did was upgrade our manual press. Then we upgraded our automatic press. So slowly along the way, we've upgraded. We don't take and pull all the profit so that way we can drive Land Rovers. I have an older Nissan car. I mean, we're not rolling in dough because we put everything back into having the best equipment possible. Oh, thank you, Heather. On a V-neck shirt, well, it kind of just depends, but typically when you're working with a V-neck shirt, if you take your t-shirt guide, and I'm pretty sure you have one, if I remember correctly, if you line it up with the bottom of that V-neck, typically your first line of text will want to start right at the top of that t-shirt guide. Oh yeah, my mother-in-law sews, so she's got a quilt frame and all that. That's always fun stuff. Yeah, and don't try to learn everything all at once. You're not going to learn it all at once. Let me tell you, the best thing to do is whenever you're doing this, any part of anything, is start off with one thing. Do the best at that one thing. Then you can add a second thing and a third thing. But do your best with each step of the process. Would you rather, and let me ask you this honestly, would you rather be mediocre at 10 things or the best at one? It's always better to be the best at one than mediocre at everything. It's kind of like the jack of all trades. Yeah, they're handy to have around, but if you need someone to actually fix your toilet and make sure it's done right, you call a plumber. So, I mean, hopefully that's helpful. I mean, I try to make it, everything laid out as clear as possible. But yeah, I mean, hi, Carmen from London. Eventually, one of these days, I will fly overseas if this all goes away, but it kind of just depends. I hate flying. So in QP, it kind of depends on what you're wanting to do. But yeah, 5 designs for each women and kids is a great start. You can always add more to it. And remember, if you're running an Etsy store, you can run things for different seasons. Like right now, you want to be thinking about fall. Even though it's still summer, you want fall stuff out now. Smitten Kitten, I think that fall Etsy's a great way to start. I don't have any idea what type of portions of things that they take. For whenever we started our online store, Etsy was not the way for us to go. But I mean, if I were just doing custom items, Etsy would be what I would do all day long. I wouldn't start just a plain website just for my business. Oh, because that wouldn't make sense financially. Because people don't realize how much actually running an e-commerce store costs. Yeah, so I mean, hopefully that helps with my thoughts on Etsy. I mean, especially when you're first getting started, because you can always add, like, maybe purchase your domain name, because like you can purchase your domain name depending on if it's taken or not. Typically for like $5 or $6 from GoDaddy for a year, and I would keep paying for it. So what your domain name would be, like my website is www.cuttincornersvinyl.com. So Cuttin Corners Vinyl is my domain name. So yes, overhead is a lot that people don't think about. That's part of the issue with custom stuff is a lot of people do things out of their house and they're like, well, I only want to charge $15 for a shirt. Well, they're not making any money off of it. They're not, because when people think about overhead, they're like, oh, well, I got to pay for the supplies. No, overhead is so much more than just the cost of, say, we're doing a t-shirt. Overhead is so much more than the cost of the t-shirt and the vinyl. Overhead is the wear and tear on your machine. You have to worry about how much that costs each time, because eventually you're going to have to replace it. Same thing with computer. It's electricity. It's any type of advertisement you do, that always goes into the way overhead works. And people don't think about that, because let me tell you, even if you're doing this from home, your electricity is going up from running a heat press and having a computer on and having the vinyl cut. People don't always include when things go wrong, because that is a big thing. Because let me tell you, there have been times where because I can cut multiple shirts at a time, where I have literally ruined a whole roll of vinyl because things messed up and I wasn't paying attention to it. Well, and Sharon, you want to be competitive as far as working from home and knowing how to price. But if you ain't making money, there ain't no point in doing it. I'm not going to take the time away from my children and my husband because it is so limited to make something for someone and not make a profit. It's not worth it. Yes, I should do a whole seminar on this topic because people don't think about it. I mean, let me tell you, even when you're starting a business, it is not worth it because whenever I first started making shirts and stuff like that, do you know how many custom shirts I own? Do you know how many custom shirts my kids and my husband and my mother and father-in-law and everybody also? That's how I learned. Like, I would give them shirts. Not if someone wanted to come in and pay me to do something, I'm going to charge where I can make it. Because it does nobody any good. No one in this industry. No one. If you undercharge. Because even if you undercharge, let me put this to you very bluntly. If you're undercharging for making stuff, you're hurting yourself and you're hurting everybody else because eventually you're going to get tired of making stuff and not making any money, and you're going to quit. And then it's going to fall on the next person. And they're not going to be able to beat your prices because you weren't making anything. So you're hurting everybody else down the line. People don't think about that. And as much as I try to keep my integrity and stuff in this, I do this. This is my job. This is my retirement. We put all of our money into it. So it is very important for me to make it at doing this. So, just to understandable. Let's see. Do you need an LLC? No, you do not need an LLC. It depends on what type of business that you're running. We have an LLC, and ours is an LLC S corp. And you need to talk to a tax professional to figure out what is best for you because there are certain things that you have. And I don't know everybody's laws. But like when we set it up, we talk to our accountant and things like that and set it up so that way the type of corporation we have is if something ever happened and we had to file bankruptcy, the things and stuff like that, which we don't have notes for the business, but if we did and we filed bankruptcy, those things would fall towards the business and they wouldn't come back on us personally, because sometimes when you file bankruptcy, depending on the type of business that you have, lenders can come after you personally, not just the business. So you need to look into that. And those things I know very little about. Okay. And yes, there's a reason why there's the term starving artist, and it shouldn't be. Art should be valued just as much as accounting, period. Because I think it's valuable. Like, I have a friend that is a makeup artist, and I've had her come and do my makeup, and I will gladly pay her whatever she asks me to do because she's went and spent money and time to learn how to do it. The kit, all the things that go into it, or getting a tattoo. Have you seen what happens with those cheap tattoos? Period. Shopify, again, it's all in how you're going to market it because you need to know how much your base monthly fee is, because a lot of things are charged whether you make a sale or not, and you need to know how much that is. And you also need to know that when you're starting a business, here's something that no one ever tells you. Plan for the first couple of years not to make a penny. Because all of your profit, for the most part, if you start making any profit, is going back into paying for your initial investment. And Smitten Kitten, there are ways to calculate out time, but part of that, a lot of that is practice. You know, a lot of times you're going to undercharge when you initially start, because you're not going to realize how long it's going to take you to do something. So, but you need to figure out that typically, like if you're making a shirt, you need to figure out how much you're worth an hour and add that into it. So, I mean, and these are things that, like, I try to be I'm as blunt as possible when it comes to these things. And there are certain things like this that make me, like, because I see it. Facebook Marketplace, it's the worst. Like, I will see people putting stuff out there for like $10, and it's probably not even their picture of stuff that they made. Or I'll get people coming in here who's like, hey, can you fix this? I took this job and I can't make it. Practice. Don't take a job unless you know you can do it, because that is the worst thing you can do, because you're going to end up losing money if you take a job and you can't do it. Yes, you do have to have a wholesale license, or you have to have a tax ID. You have to have all your ducks in a row to be able to buy wholesale. And typically the places that you can buy blanks and stuff for without needing proof of having a company, that's not your cheapest prices. I typically buy directly from the manufacturer, but I am at a point where I buy huge amounts. So, like, I buy directly from Bell and Canvas. Not everybody can do that. Yes, I get that all the time in QP. It is true. I mean, I could. And that's the thing about it, is most people don't realize, like, I could sit there and set up a separate business of doing business consulting and make a lot of money. And I give all this information out here for free. But it is what it is. But yeah, I see that you're leaving the Shamrock Pixie, and I need to get ready to go exercise too, because it is almost 6 o'clock. But if y'all are interested in this topic, maybe next week we will go more in depth on business. Think of your questions and get them ready to go. Y'all can take and email me or stuff. Send it to Cuttin Corners Vinyl if y'all have any specific questions, and that way I can kind of have everything. Maybe I could, if you send me your questions like that, I can do like a whole Q&A video in that way we're kind of weeding out over, and like we'll do a whole Q&A video over business questions. So email them to me. It is in the description box, but I'll link it here if I can spell my own business name. Yeah, so email me any of your questions there. That will help. Don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be doing a video over HTV holographic. If you missed the stretch video, it was up on Monday. It is really good. This is the sale this week, is the holographic adhesives. They're on sale for $6. They're really awesome, and it's a great way to play. But I guess that's it. So we shall see y'all tomorrow for a new tutorial. So